It's Saturday, July 4, 2026, and Centre Court at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club has witnessed a moment that will be remembered for years to come. Alexandra Eala, the 21-year-old sensation from the Philippines, has delivered one of the biggest shocks in recent Grand Slam history, defeating defending Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek in commanding fashion, 7-6, 6-2, to secure a place in the fourth round. To understand the magnitude of this victory, we have to look at the journey that brought her here. Eala arrived at Wimbledon as the number 29 seed, already making history as the first Filipino player ever to earn a seeded position at the championships. But her road to this blockbuster encounter was anything but straightforward. In the second round, she faced Australia's Maya Joint, the giant killer who had stunned Serena Williams in the opening round. After dropping the first set 3-6, Eala responded with remarkable composure and determination. She stormed back to claim the second set 6-2 before completely dominating the decider, handing Joint a crushing 6-0 defeat. That victory etched Eala's name into the history books, making her the first Filipino, man or woman, to reach the third round of a Grand Slam in the Open era. The stands overflowed with passionate supporters waving Philippine flags, creating an unforgettable atmosphere that felt more like a home crowd than a neutral venue in London. Waiting for her in the next round was one of the sport's most accomplished champions. Across the net stood Iga Swiatek, the world number 3, reigning Wimbledon champion, and owner of 6 Grand Slam titles. The Polish superstar had looked untouchable in her previous match, dismantling Karolina Pliskova in just 69 minutes to advance with ease. On paper, the challenge appeared monumental. But for Alexandra Eala, this was not uncharted territory. The two players had met twice before, splitting their previous encounters one victory apiece. Most notably, Eala stunned Swiatek at the 2025 Miami Open, announcing herself to the tennis world and proving that she possessed both the talent and the fearless mentality required to compete with the very best. What unfolded on Centre Court on this historic July afternoon would confirm that the Miami triumph was no fluke, it was merely the beginning of a remarkable rise. Eala's victory over Swiatek in Miami had propelled her all the way to the semi-finals, but the Polish superstar responded weeks later by winning their rematch on the clay courts of Madrid. That set the stage for a decisive third encounter, a true rubber match. Only this time, everything was different. It would be their first meeting on grass. Their first clash at Wimbledon. And most importantly, their first battle under the bright lights and immense pressure of Centre Court itself. In the days leading up to the match, Swiatek spoke openly about the challenge Eala presented. She admitted that she still hadn't fully figured out the young Filipina's game on grass, describing her style as unpredictable and difficult to read. On a surface where points unfold faster and margins become even thinner, that unpredictability, she believed, could become an even greater weapon. When play finally began, Centre Court received exactly the spectacle tennis fans had hoped for. The opening set was a breathtaking contest. Swiatek struck first, earning an early break to move ahead 2-1. But Eala refused to be intimidated. Showing remarkable composure, she battled back immediately, capturing 4 of the next 5 games to wrestle momentum away from the defending champion. With a chance to serve out the set, Eala stood 1 point away from taking the lead. Yet champions rarely surrender easily. Drawing upon years of experience on the biggest stages, Swiatek unleashed a series of fearless forehands to erase the danger and pull herself level once again. Neither player blinked. The set marched inevitably toward a dramatic tiebreak, and what followed was pure theater. Point after point, the tension inside Centre Court continued to rise. The breaker stretched to an incredible 11-9, with Eala finally converting her 4th set point after a grueling hour and 25 minutes of world-class tennis. As Swiatek's final forehand drifted beyond the baseline, the stadium exploded. Thousands of fans, many proudly waving Philippine flags, rose to their feet, embracing the underdog's remarkable effort. And from that moment forward, the momentum shifted completely. The defending champion suddenly looked vulnerable. In the second set, Eala elevated her game to another level. She attacked relentlessly, broke serve early, and then struck again to build a stunning 4-0 advantage. Meanwhile, Swiatek, so often the picture of consistency and control, appeared uncharacteristically unsettled as the match began slipping away from her grasp. The second set quickly became a test of composure, and it was Eala who passed with flying colors. Swiatek, so often defined by precision and consistency, suddenly looked uncharacteristically vulnerable. Untimely double faults crept into her game, unforced errors began to pile up, and the rhythm that had carried her to 6 Grand Slam titles seemed impossible to find. To her credit, the defending champion refused to surrender. She fought back, earning a break and forcing Eala to battle for every single point. For a brief moment, it felt as though the momentum might shift once again. But the young Filipina remained steady, refusing to let history slip through her fingers. The closing moments brought one final wave of drama. Serving for the biggest victory of her career, Eala found herself under immense pressure. Swiatek leaned on her championship experience, pushing the game to deuce and saving multiple match points with flashes of the brilliant shot-making that had made her one of the dominant players of her generation. Yet Eala never lost her composure. On her third opportunity to finish the match, she stepped into a forehand and fired a stunning cross-court winner that Swiatek could only watch fly past. Game. Set. Match. Center court erupted. After 2 hours and 15 minutes of breathtaking tennis, the scoreboard told an unforgettable story. Alexandra Eala had defeated Iga Swiatek 7-6, 6-2. The moment the final ball landed, Eala collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed with emotion. Tears streamed down her face as the magnitude of the achievement finally sank in. Without question, it was the greatest victory of her young career. Even bigger than her breakthrough triumph over Swiatek in Miami a year earlier. Because this victory came on the grandest stage imaginable, a Grand Slam, on the most iconic court in tennis, against the reigning Wimbledon champion herself. During her on-court interview, Eala admitted that she could hardly process what had just happened. She said she still didn't know how to put the moment into perspective, only that reaching the second week of a Grand Slam felt absolutely incredible. Despite her historic achievement, she was quick to praise her opponent, describing Swiatek as an extraordinary champion and a genuinely kind person, adding that she felt privileged simply to share center court with her. Eala also spoke from the heart about what the milestone meant. For players like Swiatek, or legends such as Serena and Venus Williams, reaching the latter stages of Grand Slam events may seem routine. But for a young woman who grew up in the Philippines, far from tennis's traditional powerhouses, dreaming of moments like this from thousands of miles away, the accomplishment carried immeasurable significance. And with this victory, her remarkable Wimbledon journey reached another historic level. She had already become the first Filipino player, male or female, to reach the third round of a Grand Slam in the Open era. Now, by defeating the defending champion, Alexandra Eala had advanced to the second week of Wimbledon and booked her place in the round of 16 of a major tournament for the very first time in her career. History had already been made. But judging by what unfolded on center court, it may only be the beginning. For Swiatek, it marks a shocking and premature end to her Wimbledon title defense, a powerful reminder that grass-court tennis remains the sport's ultimate equalizer. Even a six-time Grand Slam champion can be vulnerable when confidence, momentum, and a fearless opponent collide on the game's fastest surface. Defeated in straight sets by the tournament's 29th seed, the reigning champion leaves London far earlier than anyone expected. But for Alexandra Eala, this victory represents another extraordinary chapter in a rise that seems to accelerate with every passing month. Just a year ago, she made history as the first Filipino player ever to break into the world's top 100 rankings and the first to qualify for a Grand Slam main draw at Roland Garros. Since then, she has continued to shatter barriers and redefine what is possible for Philippine tennis. One record after another. One milestone after another. And now, another historic first. As she prepares for the fourth round, Eala carries far more than a racket onto the court. She carries the hopes of millions of Filipinos, the confidence born from the greatest victory of her career, and a rapidly growing reputation as one of the most fearless young stars in women's tennis. No opponent will overlook her now. No stage will seem too big. And regardless of what happens during the remainder of Wimbledon 2026, this moment is already immortal. This is the